Ooh, welcome everyone to another episode of Slasher Scotty. I am your host, Scotty McCoy, and boy, do I have a surprise for all of you. I have on Zoom with me right now Rebecca Rinehart, and she played Miranda in Shriekshow, and she was in a lot of big indie films. So I'm so excited to have Rebecca on my show. How you doing, Rebecca?
I'm okay.
That's awesome. So the first question I got for you is, how did you get your start into acting?
So I only started a few years ago, and I just, long story made short, I got a divorce. Like, and if anybody out there who's ever been divorced, like your life can start. This was 2018, and so when I got divorced, finally I got to be who I wanted to be. And I'd always had the horror thing kind of suppressed, a lot of memorabilia in boxes under my bed and that kind of thing. So once I got divorced, like everything, he walked out, and I was like, I'm gonna start hanging up all my crap. And I was really, my social anxiety was horrible at that point in time. And I started becoming more active in Facebook groups, like really large Facebook groups. And I started like meeting a lot of people that were like me, and which I think anybody who's into horror who is listening right now knows exactly what that means. Finding fellow mutants and all of that. And so I ended up starting a podcast with a couple of my friends that I met online.
Nice.
And that was my start. So we did a horror podcast, and then after a little bit, I was like, yeah, I'll do my own YouTube channel. Why not? Which was really a big step for me. And it is called The Not Quite Final Girl. My concept, which I do not keep with now, the concept was all the girls who final girl it get all the praise. But like, I was watching these movies and I was feeling bad for, these girls who die. And I've got this whole like backstory in my head, like what mom serves for breakfast on Saturday and everything. And so I wanted to highlight those ladies. And so it was a very time consuming project. I think I have 12 or 13 of them. But I pretty much retired that concept. And now I do a lot of drunken commentaries. I kind of riff tracks movies, but not really just riff tracks. They're movies that I either love or hate. Movies that generally aren't very good, but they have some special place in my heart, so that I can kind of ridicule them and give you loads of trivia. So that's where I am with my YouTube channel. But I started reviewing movies, and I started interviewing people. So it took me a while to realize the independent filmmakers are normal people. Like, yep. like whenever you're like, I don't know this person at all, I'm watching his movie, I'm going to see if he's on Instagram, friends, So I started realizing that, started interviewing. And then after a little bit, inevitably it's like, well, here, why don't you just sit and, sit in on this scene or whatever. Right. And then when one director does that, then all of their colleagues want to do that. And so that's really where it came from. I was in a little short for Tim Ritter. And then he's an SOV director. Well, I mean, he does a lot more, but all of his SOB cronies then wanted to put me in their movie. So like Donald Farmer put me in a movie, and Todd Sheets put me in a movie, and so yeah, you just start getting your resume by that kind of thing. I rarely audition for stuff. I still just mostly do stuff where people are like, you want to be in my movie? Could you be in my movie?
That's the best way to do things, because auditioning it can be very stressful, especially because like 95% of auditioning is really rejection, because it's part of the business. So it's really good to really be somewhere and get asked to be in the movie. I actually like that better.
Yeah, well, I mean, this sounds bad or whatever, but I rarely don't get something that I audition for. I just don't audition very much. Right. And now that I'm a filmmaker, I try to limit how many projects that I work on of other people's projects, just because of time and vacation days and all those things that we have to deal with. But yeah, I don't know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we know that you're part of Shriekshow. So how did you become part of Shriekshow?
Um, let's see. Who did Brad Twig know that? I can't remember. It's exactly the same thing, kind of that weird like horror nepotism. I had done something for somebody that Brad Twig knew.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brad Twig wanted to know if I would do something for him, like a short, because he does a lot of anthologies. He produces and puts those out a lot. And he was promoting Shriekshow at the time. And I was like, oh, are you talking about Shriekshow? And he was like, no, but I could probably get you in it. I'm like, come to find out, Julianne Prescott had done the same thing, and he called her.
Nice.
And she said the exact same thing. Oh, is it Shriekshow? So lo and behold, we went out to Pennsylvania, and on that Saturday we filmed a short.
Nice.
And then that Sunday, I believe, we did our stuff, or it might have even been that night. We did our stuff for Shriekshow. So that's how I got involved. I bullied my way in.
That's awesome.
I embarrassed my way into it.
So for those unaware, what is Shriekshow about? And can you tell us a bit about your character, Miranda?
So Shriekshow is it's an anthology type of story. From what I know, I haven't seen the full cut. All I know is it's some kids end up going to a like a sideshow, and it's not quite what they, bargained for. Of course, whenever you're just going to a sideshow in the middle of nowhere, what do you expect? But there's a clown who he actually I think he tells the tales that follow. And then they have some interaction, but like I said, I don't know anything about like that part. I know that my part is two women. I'm just right here. I'm going to sell the movie right now. So yeah, two women who are together as a couple camping. So let's just say there's boobs, there's blood, there's comedy.
Everything that sells a horror movie to the men.
And I think we're the opening, so it's perfect. Like
I mean, how else do you sell a movie? Let's let's open it with two women that are together, pretty much naked and getting hatched up with a knife or something, butchered with a carving knife.
Yep. So that's, and then it kind of, I think we have another segment or not another segment, but I think ours is a part of a segment that Jimmy Flame was in, which I worked with him as well on that short. I can't wait till that short comes out. Actually, that was super fun.
Awesome. So what was the best part about filming Shriekshow, and what was the worst?
The best was just this. I mean, this sounds bad, but the best was I got some really awesome stills.
Nice.
So Brad's sister-in-law is a professional photographer, and so she comes on set, and she, like, both days she took tons and tons of pictures, and I mean they're just great, like professional looking stills, like movie stills. So yeah, I got this really cool one of I have pigtails in, and I've just like murdered a bunch of people, and I'm covered in blood, and it's like you just see the trees blurry behind me. I was like, that's epic. Yeah.
That's awesome. Like an action-packed still shot.
Yeah. The worst thing, there was nothing. I mean, just that I had to leave my home, I guess. That I had to fly on a plane, which is not one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, I don't like flying either. I'm a big scaredy cat when it comes to flying.
See, I'm not scared of flying. I just hate the experience. Like, I just hate how I feel when I get off a plane. I hate how it makes my eyes dry for like 3 days, and I'm just over. I hate like drinking my tomato juice out of a tiny little cup while I'm like hunched over,
The ears have
flying. That's the worst part.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure if the premiere happened yet for Shriekshow. Has it?
It is Sunday, actually.
Okay,
so
good. That was my question. Let's promote it.
Oh, okay. So wait. So all right. So it is in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania, which
Nice.
I think is a little more like Maryland
Yeah.
kind of border area. But if you go to Facebook and you just type in Shriekshow, it's the first thing that comes up. It is the Shriekshow, say that 3 times fast,
Right.
world premiere. And it is Sunday, and there are tickets still available.
Nice.
And I
Awesome.
can tell you the name of the theater, but I have a feeling there's only one theater in Waynesboro.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there is one theater. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
It is the Waynesboro Theater. So there we go. Okay.
Simple enough.
Look at me fact checking while on here.
Absolutely. So that's on Sunday. Is there going to be a Q&A and all that after the showing?
Yeah, I believe you can get merch. There are going to be a lot of the people who are in it are locals, and so there are going to be a lot of people there. I know Max Morrison's going to be there. Jimmy Flame. I think I'm trying to see. I do believe that there is a Q&A. Yes, the cast and crew will have a Q&A after the screening, and
nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love Max Morrison. I'll be working with him in Waynesboro in April. We'll be filming
nice.
Heavy Duty Man. He's going to be bullying me. He's going to be hitting me with towels. And he'll be giving me swirlies and pantsing me in wedgies. So that'll be interesting.
I decapitated him in that short that I did.
Nice.
Like with my hands.
That's awesome.
It was really fun.
Awesome. He's such a great guy, and I wish I was able to go. I had 2 interviews already scheduled before I actually found out about it. Scheduled them probably in December, or I would have been able to go, because I have a lot of friends that are actually in there, and I've interviewed a lot of the cast from Shriekshow as well. So I really wanted to give it my support, but I'll be there in spirit, and I know it's going to be a success. I can't wait to see how this movie comes out. I think it's going to be great. So the last question I do got for you is, do you have any other projects in the works to promote to the listening and viewing audience?
Okay. So if you want to see me, I do have 2 movies that are on Prime, and one I think is on Tubi as well. So Fright Vision, which is an anthology by actually by Brad Twigg, because yeah. I don't want to make this sound like the Brad Twigg show. I'm sorry. It sounds like I'm kissing his ass. But no, after I did those things with him, then COVID kind of came back up, and he's like, I've got this anthology. I don't have a wraparound. I see you have this character, Dr. Bubenstein. Would you want to do the wraparound? So I got to write my own little pithy segments. And yes, I'm sorry, Dr. Bubenstein did, and Max Cave, this amazing artist from Italy. Brad just sent me a picture of the Elvira poster where she's in a seat with popcorn, and she's kind of got her eyes in her mouth are really wide. It's like a theater, and there's some ghouls and stuff. He's like, hey, can you sit like this? Can you do this? And I sent him that picture, and it's like me in my bedroom and like, a t-shirt or whatever. And he came up with this awesome poster that's like one of my bucket list things. Like, it's great cover art, and I am it.
That is awesome. That is really
cool. So there's that one. Sharks of the Corn is also from Tim Ritter is also on there. Right now, I am trying to limit how many things that I'm doing, like I was saying before, because I'm working on my own film. I'm filming a film called Tin Roof in June here in Indiana, and it is a camp slasher, which is my favorite genre, but we are kind of twisting it around. And instead of teenagers with no personalities going on spring break with their dad's money, we decided to put adults in it. I think my exact words were, I want people with mortgages, beer bellies, kids, and problems.
That's
so
awesome.
It is so like more, not I will say older, more mature people.
Okay.
What more established people will be featured in our slasher.
That's awesome. That's exciting. You don't see that often, which is great. You look at all the Friday the 13th and all the the slasher films out there. Usually they're teenagers. The typical cliche. You get the nerd, the bitch, the slut, and all that.
Yeah.
But now we get something a little more different, where it's more.
Yeah. Well, it's relatable. I mean, so many of us grew up on those movies, and now we're in our 30s, 40s, 50s. and we can't relate to the kids that they're putting in them now.
Right.
So I mean, they were like, really, like that's like my niece, like, oh, like so I want, you can't have any kind of fear or true empathy if you can't relate to the person. So just making
Absolutely.
them
That
remember.
sounds good. So that you said that film's in June. Do you have an anticipated release date or release year yet?
No, probably the end of this year, but we do have an Indiegogo that I'd like to
Okay.
promote. We are
Absolutely.
still raising money, and the more money we raise and the faster we raise it, the faster it will come out on Blu-ray.
Nice.
So the address is igg.me/@/tinroof.
Okay.
And we have some pretty cool perks. We have some things from, hey, I just want to support indie horror, but I'm broke, all the way up to you can be an executive producer. And we're getting ready to put a couple new perks, but one really huge perk is you can get killed in our movie by effects legend Joe Castro.
Ooh, that'll be awesome. That's so cool. So absolutely. So if you want to support Rebecca and Tin Roof, is that it? Tin Roof? You got
Yep.
that right? Awesome. So if you want to promote that, go to Indiegogo. And if you can't support it because you don't have the funds or whatever, at least share it, because your one share costs nothing and could lead to other donations. So definitely support that, and support indie horror in general, because indie horror is amazing, and we have a lot of creative people in this community that really do amazing things and deserve to be supported. But I thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining me today.
All right, thanks for having me.
Not a problem. You have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too.
Bye.